KQEG and Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and fitness. Well, today, spotlight shines brightly on the V-Hawk Viterbo men's basketball program with head coach Wayne Wagner, along with junior Cade Anderson. Welcome to the show, guys.
Good to see you, Terry.
Good to see you.
As we tape the show, the holiday season must be pretty special. First for you, Coach, because of that little Kendall girl.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she's just a doll, by the way. And I'm sure it's just a pleasure to be able to spend some time with her during the holidays.
It has been different this year. She's going to be 3 now coming in January, so she's in tune now with Santa. Last year she didn't know what that was all about, so she gets the Christmas present idea right now. So she's got some expectations coming in for Christmas, so that's been fun to see.
Good. Special indeed. Well, Cade, you just finished your first semester, or you're close to it. You put the books away for a while. You had a little break from basketball. Christmas back in Sparta. Kind of a chance for you to unwind and relax a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's always those Christmas traditions, that my family and I do, but it's not time to get away from the work side. I think with basketball, there's always weightlifting, an extra run or two, but yeah, it's nice to just unwind a little bit and enjoy time with the family.
Speaking of weightlifting, watching you play recently, a lot of people surrounding me watching were like, oh my gosh, that young man has really blossomed into one Herculean kind of player. And you worked hard at that, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. I know Coach is always striving for us to get better on and off the court, and I took this last summer here to really find myself and strive to just put on good muscle and be a presence down on the post. So, yeah.
I know your parents a little bit. I know holidays are important to you, and just go back for a minute and reflect, if you could, on maybe some really memorable Christmases in the past for Cade Anderson.
Oh boy, I think I'm gonna go back. I believe I was in the 7th grade. We woke up and went downstairs, and there was 2 big packages down in the basement, and the card said, "Pack your bags, we're leaving for Disney World tomorrow," and they were 2 suitcases for my sister and I, so I think that was one that was one for the record book.
How can you top that one,
Yeah,
Cade?
that's pretty hard to top, yeah.
Well, I know, Wayne, I know your family very well. I know your mom and dad. By the way, what a blessing to have them to be able to come to games, which they do occasionally. You are certainly grateful for that, I'm sure, but you had a close family, and I'm sure there were some Christmases that were special to you.
Yeah, the traditional things. I'm from a family of 6, and we're all still around now. Mom and Dad are still around in their 80s now. And I guess even more so than the past is now the fact that we still make it a priority to get together at some point. It's never usually on the 24th or the 25th, but somewhere around the Christmas season, my siblings and the spouses all find a way to get together and get the cousins back around, and that's been as special as it was when we were kids, just to be able to stay close together through this time of year.
As we tape the show, just finished a big win on the road down in Forest Lake, Iowa. Cade had 9 points, and must have been a gratifying win. Take a little break, and hopefully our viewers can take in some games, and the next one will be on December 30th. But reflect on that game. Reflect on the early first part of the season, Coach.
Well, it's been a good year. I mean, we're 8-7 right now, and we didn't know what quite to expect this year because we lost some really top-notch, not just players but leaders from our team this past year with Jake Bamke and those guys moving on. That was a question for us this year, where we were going to get our leadership from, and we got a great 6-game winning streak to start out the early part of the year, which was somewhat unexpected, but I credit it to the fact that we did find leadership. The leadership kind of evolved, with Cade being a great example of that, and Ethan Haberman and Jared Fleischman have been, what it looked like was they were kind of hiding in the shadows a little bit last year with Jake and Austin and Eric being the leaders, and they've taken on the role. Like I said, Cade's off-season has been one that has garnered a lot of respect from his teammates, and with that comes the leadership expectations, and those guys have been great about it, and I think that's what's contributed to us getting off to a better start than people might have expected.
As you know, I have a great deal of respect for you and the Viterbo program and the quality of the athletes that you recruit. Never knew Cade Anderson very well when he was younger. I know all-conference performer from Sparta, honor roll all 4 years, but it's been a blessing to get to know him because he is the kind of young man that really exemplifies what Viterbo is all about. And kind of what you said, only a junior, played as a freshman, quality minutes in every game, and as a sophomore. But talk about a pleasant evolution. Would you share how you've developed into the kind of person you are?
Yeah, definitely. Coming in as a freshman, I didn't really know what to expect, obviously, like anyone. But I credit a lot of my, time and hard work to Eric Engelstead, who was a senior this past year. He really took me under his wing, and showed me the ropes and just, pushed me, worked with me, and made sure that I was learning the right things that would put me in the right mindset, to be a winner and a leader.
Let's go back to when you grew up, and you obviously grew up wanting to be a basketball player, wanting to be an athlete, and not knowing but hoping and dreaming that you would be a collegiate athlete at some point. Let's go back down memory lane a little bit and talk about some of your experiences and what led you to become a college athlete.
Well, growing up, I did play a lot of sports. I played, football, baseball, basketball, and all those. And I had a special passion for basketball. And I was always out in the driveway, shooting free throws, doing layups, and all that, watching all the NBA games, the college games, and getting that side of things. And then as I got closer to high school, in the Sparta program, playing JV basketball, and then going into varsity my sophomore year, that's when I really kind of, was growing and getting taller and taller, and people were looking at me. And that's kind of when, college basketball came into my eyesight. I figured, I could develop and grow and, land somewhere special. And so then I got that phone call from Coach Wagner, saying that he'd like me to be a part of the V-Hawks, and I set up my tour, and I just fell in love with Viterbo University and the men's basketball program here, and I felt like I made the right decision.
You did. For this whole community, it's a blessing that you're here. Not only your skills, but just what you represent. But there must have been other opportunities too.
Definitely, yeah. I had other coaches contacting me, sending me things in the mail, questionnaires and stuff like that. And I went on other tours, but I just wasn't getting the same feel that I was at Viterbo and with the men's basketball program here. There was just something special that just felt like the right fit for me. So
powerful statement. Powerful statement indeed. And talk about, Coach, when you recruit athletes, because obviously in college your success and your longevity and the quality of the program is based on your ability to recruit and who you recruit. Talk about the kind of people that you look for in terms of your recruiting path.
Yeah, well, as a college program, you got to be able to play. You can't deny that fact that you got to have guys that are, have athleticism and a skill set that projects. And you can figure those out reading a book, right? You have to go and check them out. You got to get to know the person. You got to get to know the families as well as you can. And to me, then, what it comes down to is, do I see the potential for leadership there? Because at the end of the day, if they're getting through the program at the university, and I'm talking their academic program, they're going to be in positions as professionals where they have to be leaders. And I look for those types of qualities within their own high school situations. Are they communicating on the floor? How are they? I was at a game last night, and the first thing I was waiting for is for the guy we were recruiting to come to the bench and see how his reaction was in a tight situation. Are they in tune with what's still going on out there? Are they a positive part of things? And that's the final stamp for me to say that's somebody that we want to continue to pursue and try to get in our program.
Funny, I've heard coaches talk about that too, reading body language, how you react to officials, how you take criticism, how you handle yourself, like Villanova has this character chart. How you handle yourself when the coach takes you out of the game. Where do you go? Do you go on the end of the bench and sulk? Well, do you make your teammates better? Is a question that I always think about and look for when I watch players. You look at all that too, don't you?
No, absolutely. Like you said, you can tell quickly how they react to tough situations, whether it's about them or the team. And we're always looking for it to be about the team, giving up yourself for the good of the whole. And that's easy to find when you get out there and really watch student athletes at their younger years.
Before we go to break, too, I know, Cade, you were an honor student. We mentioned that all 4 years. Student athlete, student first, athlete second.
Mm-hmm.
Blessing. I mean, that's a lot of people don't see it that way. Is it difficult to balance the off-season workouts, the practices during the season, all the things that are going on in your life, and then a pretty difficult load of studies?
It's definitely something that you have to get used to, but as time goes on, you learn things that help you. Communication is the number one thing. Obviously, if you go for a long road trip, you have a big test or you want to get some extra studying done with your professors, you always communicate via email. At least a week beforehand, I like to try that, and just make sure that you're talking with them, because if they don't know, then that's not good. And obviously, like you said, we're students first, so that's our number one priority. And just communication, that's just the big thing. You just want to make sure that they're on the same base with you.
Exactly, and certainly they know you're a student athlete, so they're willing to work with you, and that's the positive aspect of Viterbo University. We're going to step aside just for a minute. We come back more here on 7 Rivers Sports.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to 7 Rivers Sports. Today, the spotlight on Viterbo men's basketball. Head coach Wayne Wagner, along with junior Cade Anderson. Coach, you have quite a past. You were a tremendous player. You were a two-sport athlete at Viterbo. You were a great high school player. You've coached high school ball. You coached at UW Stevens Point. You played for Rod Pop. You coached under Jack Bennett. Talk about some of your experiences and maybe who's influenced you and sort of helped you craft the person you are today.
Well, it really does. I've been fortunate, the people I've been around and the type of people and coaches that they are, and I have to take it back to high school. I had an outstanding high school coach in Bob Luxinger that not a lot of people probably know who he is. He was a state champion out of Janesville Parker in the early 70s, and then played at the University of Wisconsin then. But he was a guy that, I had brothers that were really good athletes that played for him too, that one of them went on to play for the Badgers in football and stuff, but a really solid foundation of work ethic and team play. We were a defensive-minded program and stuff, and I think that always brings out a team aspect, because there's no glory in that, so it does force you to be more about the guys around you. So I give a lot of credit to him. Obviously, my family alone, my parents and everything too, but then Coach Pop, he's out of the Dick Bennett mold for sure, obviously working for him for several years. So again, it was a defensive mindset and a team concept, and then I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to work with Jack Bennett over at Stevens Point before the national tournament runs there, part of the crew we recruited when Kenny Cable and I were both over there. So it's, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and I feel like I've been able to stay along my values with the people I've worked with, and been able to add some things as my career has moved along.
Have you changed your style of coaching in 18 years? I mean, have you had to adjust to today's athlete?
I don't know if I had to, but I did. So I guess you just kind of evolve. I changed in the sense of kind of game day intensity. I feel like the work as a coach, and coaches who, people who are in that side of it, the work is practice. Like that's where you get your work done, and you kind of let game days be more the players. That's their test day, right? They got to come and show what they've done. So I think on a game day basis, I've become a little bit more reserved to a degree, and kind of letting that be the day the players can show, and then you evaluate off of that and say what do we have to get back to working on the next day of practice. So those are some things that have changed for me.
Actually, as a fan and as an official, I've noticed the same thing, and I think it all comes with evolution and so on, feeling comfortable in who you are. Speaking of feeling comfortable in who you are, you feel comfortable in your skin, don't you, Cade?
Definitely. Yeah.
And you let's get to know you a little bit more here in this segment. You said something rather compelling, provocative. You said you indicated a couple of key people that were your role models.
Definitely, yeah. One being my father, and the other being Coach Wagner. Definitely, Coach wants success both on the court and off the court. He wants you to be, the best person that you can be and the best man you can be out in the real world. And so he tries to, instill these core values into you that you can take outside of basketball and into the real world.
You seem to be a little wiser than your age, wiser than where you are on this earth. And has that always been kind of a deep substance to you?
I've always just tried to be as mature as I can and just, learn as I go and, learn from my elders. And I definitely think that that's, a good credit from Coach Wagner.
Fast forward your life a little bit. You graduated in a year and a half or so, and talk about your major, your career, and where are you going to be in 5-10 years?
My major is business administration with a minor in human resources. I originally started out in the education field and decided to change some things with that. And in 5 or 10 years, I hope I'm still in Wisconsin. I love this place, and I love to call it home. I'd like to be an HR director somewhere, hopefully like in the Eau Claire area, maybe like Appleton. That sounds kind of cool. So, yeah, just, hopefully married and having kids on the way. And
good. Well, you may be an HR director at Viterbo University. Wayne would work for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
The benefits would go up.
Oh, yeah. Well, you ever heard this statement? I've met the enemy, and the enemy is me. I've met the opponent, and the opponent is me. That describes you, doesn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
Why is that?
As a player, the worst harm you can do comes from yourself. I say that as a basketball standpoint. If you practice soft, you're going to play soft, and if you don't practice hard, you're not going to play hard. And I think that each and every person, I'll just use the basketball team as an example, needs to prepare each and every day as if it is a game day. We want to make sure that we have our best shot at winning, and I feel like, anyone we go up against, we have a shot at winning. I think it's just ourselves that kind of bring ourselves down. And if we don't have a good practice, our people are moping. I think that's what really sets us back, and that shouldn't be a thing.
I just had a spontaneous thought. You know what that is? When he graduates, put him on the coaching staff. But there's some people that have a similarity to you. One of them's called Ben Franklin. You've heard of him. Gandhi, that's another one. Kobe Bryant, you heard of him.
Yeah.
And LeBron James.
Yeah.
And you know why there's a similarity between them and you?
Why is that?
They're ambidextrous.
Oh, yeah. Left and right-handed.
Talk about yours.
Well, I write left-handed, and I shoot a basketball left-handed, but I've always thrown a baseball, and I've always thrown a football right-handed.
By the way, you ever heard of Ringo Starr?
Yeah.
He has the same quality you do.
Yeah, ambidextrous.
Whoa! Yeah. Pretty famous musician.
Oh, yes.
Well, Coach, before long, the calendar turns first of the year and so on, and then your road trips kind of continue, and you're full speed ahead. Talk about what you expect and what we're going to see in the conference and out of conference for the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's been an interesting stretch. We got kind of a crazy setup to the start of the year. We have 6 road games to start the conference season. Unheard of. I don't know how it got set up that way, but the exciting thing is if we can get some things done with that, and we had a nice win this last weekend at the team that's in first place right now, so that was a good, good step in the right direction with that. But it's setting up better for us with having a lot more home games down the stretch here. We only have 2 more road trips the rest of the year, to be honest with you, and so hopefully like I said, we can make enough noise on those road swings and then take advantage of the home court and providing a lot of opportunity to get our fans out there. And we continue to see a growing fan base in our campus. Our students, our fellow student athletes are coming out to support each other across the sports. We had such great success in volleyball. So I see an exciting January and February for Viterbo basketball. I really do.
And so do I. And I've watched several games, and I would agree with you. And I'm a fan of Cade Anderson because of how he leads, how he handles himself, but because being a student athlete at any level, by the way, you're on a platform, and if you don't want to accept the fact that you're a student athlete or a leader, you shouldn't be an athlete. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a sense of self-recognition that you have to have, and you definitely have to take that with utmost respect, and try to just lead off the court too as well. Just set a good example for other students, and just be the best person that you can be.
If I asked some of your teammates to describe you, Cade, what would they say?
That's a good question. I'd hope they say that he's a strong leader, someone that they can get along with. That's someone that can help them along the way and help teach them, but also that I can learn from them, because I don't know everything, and I like to learn from my teammates and just have a good, strong bond with them.
You are measured by who you associate with. You want to associate with people that lift you up,
yeah, definitely,
along with you lifting them up. As we close the show, too, I noticed 2 of your coaches left recently. Coach Barrett retired. Coach Matt Snyder took another job at Aquinas. So you have some new faces on the bench.
Yeah, Luke Clift joined us last year. He's from Washington State. He moved out here with his now wife. And he's just as a longtime basketball junkie, a guy that had a shot to be a pretty good player himself and had some knee injuries, so he got himself into the coaching field and has been a GA at different places out in the Washington area, and landed our way last year. And with Coach Schneider moving over to Aquinas, it opened up a hole for us for essentially the top assistant position, and he's ran with it. He's been outstanding. He's been a big instrumental part of development of Cade in the off season too. So we're really fortunate to have him. And Taylor Hansen, who's a student, just graduated this year, a student assistant, that's helped us a lot too. And he was a golfer, an outstanding golfer in the golf program there. So it's been a good couple of guys to help us bridge the gap here as we move forward.
Well, we'll be at many of your games down the stretch, and the next one December 30th, and then many of them throughout January and February. And I believe February 10th is homecoming, so we hope that the community comes out to support that. And the games are on the Viterbo website. You play in the activity center there, the RW Beggs Fieldhouse, and we just hope that people in the community will rally around the V-Hawks and support them, because it's a quality program and it's great people and it's worth watching. There's no question about it. But we really appreciate you being on the show during the holiday season. We want to send our best to you during this season and throughout the rest of the year. So thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Jerry.
We'll be back with some film clips right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
Who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Hope you enjoyed our interview today. The spotlight on Viterbo men's basketball. Head coach Wayne Wagner, along with Cade Anderson. Well, in the next 2.5 months, we will feature many games here on KQEG as we spotlight both the boys and girls basketball throughout the Coulee region. Mark your calendars for Saturday, January 13th, the Midwest Players Classic at the Lacrosse Center. We'll cover all those games beginning at 10 a.m., Lacrosse Aquinas versus Bangor, ending at 8:15 with Central Red Raiders versus Woodbury, Minnesota. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, thanking you for joining us and sending a special New Year's greeting wishes to all of you to have both a happy and a healthy 2018. Thanks for joining us. See you next week here on Seven Rivers Sports.